And we are back at the OPP, the Again Perspective podcast. First and foremost, I want to thank Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, for this opportunity. All power, honor, and glory belongs to him. So without him, none of this would be possible. So with that being said, mi gente, que es lo que hay, ya tú sabes, my people, what it is. You know what I'm talking about today. In today's episode, I brought some of my family members. You know, I got my cousins, my brother. I'm going to let them introduce themselves and tell you where they're from. And then we're going to be discussing the difference between parenting when we were parented and the parenting that we've done. And then we want to give some advice to the future parents that are going to come, you know, saying being parents next. So, Mikey, say what's up.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Mikey.
Get closer.
I was born here in Chicago, and I currently live in Sacramento, California.
Hola, hola. Jose Angel Oquendo, better known as Chegui, born in Chicago, raised in Puerto Rico.
Freddie Oquendo, glad to be back home. Originally from Chicago, now living down in South Florida. Got to get away from the heat for a little bit. Glad to be with my family. Love you guys.
Ya tú sabes, aquí estamos vacilando, jangueando y bien duro. Mira, so first question. In your experiences, each one of you guys, in your experience, what was the biggest difference between your parents parenting you and you parenting your children? And what do you think is the biggest difference?
For me personally, the investment of the information that my parents had to what I have today. Today we have the cell phones, social media. We have more opportunities to give that information to our children, you know, being parents, than what our parents didn't have when we were a child. So I think that's the biggest difference in being a parent today than what we were raised when we were children.
And you have a daughter, right?
I do. I do have a 10-year-old, Lauren.
Say what's up, Lauren.
Hey, Lauren. How are you, mamas? I love you, my loves.
Okay. Go ahead, Chegui. What's up?
I too have two kids, Annabelle Oquendo and Josiah Oquendo. The biggest difference, I'd say, I think that the complexity between being raised in our time and the sense of control that parents had then to place them in a sense of, in a place of advantagement, right? Because they had the advantage of control, of having an environment where information was filtered the way they needed it to be filtered for us to understand versus, like you said, social media, networks, television, gaming, gives us information, gives kids information that they don't need right now, right? In our time, they decided what we watched, who we played with, how long it was going to be for, when we went, when we were to be picked up, when we were to be at home. And today, you give a kid a tablet, and God only knows what they're perceiving through that tablet, right?
It's true, very true.
It might be information you don't want them to have, or they shouldn't have, right? Because they're dissecting that information themselves in their own way, and not the way the child should. And I think it puts us at a disadvantage today as a parent, and it gives our parents back in those times a sense of advantage.
But you and your children don't use the same tablet, right?
No.
Because I wouldn't
Absolutely
trust
not.
you.
Absolutely not.
All right.
Absolutely.
I have 7 kids. So
Congratulations.
hi to all of you. Love you guys. I agree with what they're saying because that's a big difference in society. But with that, I think the biggest thing for me personally, I see, is we were raised by a village. We were raised by my dad, my mom, my aunts, my uncles, and even our older cousins.
Grandparents.
You know, and we had all eyes on us. So there was a tremendous advantage. If that was today, if we would have that situation today, it would help manage our kids. If we were all together and we all saw the children together playing together, so as long as you see one over there by himself, you're like, oh, what's he doing by himself over there? You know, that's I think what we miss. So, yeah, I think that social media today makes it very difficult, like they say, because they have access to all types of information. Yeah. And like my brother was saying over there, you know, yeah, if it's important that parents have a separate computer, laptop, phone than the kids. Sometimes the parents take their phone and give it to their kids, you know, and a lot of times, you know, you don't remember what you have on your phone, you know, and kids are have a lot more dexterity with the phone. So that's what I say.
Okay. So, so for me, parenting is like so like today's parents give too many options. Like you said, we didn't have no options, but by not having options, we knew what direction we were going.
Yeah.
Now they have so many options that they get lost. They have to find themselves, so that makes it more difficult as a parent because you want to. You know, you love your kid, and you want to make sure that you make their lives easier, because that's what our parents did for us, you know. So, but I think that like what happened to the "because I told you so" back in the day. If my mom or dad said, "Hey, do this," if I would have said, "Why?" I couldn't even imagine it asking why. I would have got my butt beat. No, it would come up. It was like, "Cause I told you so," and that's it, and that's it. That was the end of it. You don't ask some more questions. If not, okay, get whooped. Cocotazo, bow. What do you think, Bobby? No? About options, and
right. Growing up myself, I was limited to the decision making that our parents made. They always had our best interests, but in their minds, they knew what was best for us. You know, as to what school should we go to, do things that is going to be family orientated, also within the home or visiting family. You know, so with that came a sense of awareness. Being a child, you have to follow your parents and what they say and not question it. Like to this day, my dad, he's 93 years old. And if he says something, I'm not going to challenge him. You know, I might disagree, but I'm going to give him the respect in regards to him being my dad to where we can communicate. Not out of frustration, but simply understanding his upbringing, the way he disciplined us as children. So now, how do I share that with my child today? I get challenged, asking questions, well, why, Daddy? Or this. But within that, we can communicate, turn it around as a parent to where I could bond with my child and find out what her mindset is, why she asking me these questions. Because I have her best interest. I'll give a quick example if I can. I shared to my daughter here recently that the reason I share things for you is for your protection, for your safety, because I care about you and I love you.
Yeah.
Now, let's say there was a rattlesnake here, right? And I'm your dad, and we're out here, you're right next to me, and I let you sit in front of that rattlesnake, and you might have the inkling to want to reach out and touch it when that rattler is, swinging.
Mm-hmm. Making noise.
Right?
Yeah.
Naturally, a child's going to reach out. Mm-hmm. But what is that snake going to do?
Bite.
It's going to bite back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So as a father, I'm not going to say, yeah, go ahead and touch that rattler. No, for her safety. Yeah. Why? Because what can happen?
Yep.
So she has the understanding that snakes bite and they carry a venom, poison. So I share that in that same analogy that when I share things to you and you ask me questions, it's the same thing for your safety and your protection. So that an awareness I came to develop being a parent at the same time from what I learned and being a child from my parents, So it's good to be flexible with that wisdom of understanding to do that. And a parent knows their child and how to reach out to them and communicate with them, right?
I agree.
So, I share that in that light. Question.
Yep.
I want to expand on Mikey real quick.
Go ahead.
One of the things that I think that what you touched on is and it's a big difference as we speak to each other, or when we talk to each other. You're right. Back in the day, we would have a specific direction, right? But I think that today, because we were so straight and forward and pushed a certain direction, we've given the next generation a little more freedom, right? Right. But if like you're saying, if you'll give them a little more freedom, but you educate them, have that relationship where you can explain that to them. If you say, don't touch his phone, right? Why? Okay. At first, if it's something silly, like, absolutely, you can't. What are you doing? You're not supposed to question what you got to understand. Right? If I'm telling you no, it's because no, because I don't want the snake to bite you, right? Do you really? But by the time you ask me why, that snake bites you. You go, don't touch that rattle. Why, Daddy? Bah. That's it, right? So it's in the communication. It's in the communication where I think that with our parents, the times, right? They said no. We wouldn't question it, and to this day we don't question it. But that's how we were raised. But we also had to figure a lot of things out on our own, right? The only thing that helped us is that we sat together in groups. We were all raised together. Like, we all were together, At different times in our lives, we were always in Mikey's house, Tia Chel's house, our house. The family was partying, but we were all together. We were all running around, and we were all here. Like, if Mikey did something bad, and Tia Eddie said, mira, Mikey, para eso, Eddie would stop if he was going to try it next. And that's the difference. So,
You got anything to add, Chegwi?
I think you guys, all you guys have great points. But I think we when you really dissect it and you go deep into the root of what we're talking about, either from a young age to an adult, everybody needs guidance.
Yes.
Even as an adult.
Yeah.
Today, we just landed yesterday in Chicago, and we got out of the airport. And if we had no GPS and you said, find Elgin, we wouldn't have ever made it.
yeah.
We need that map to get there, right? With a map, it said go right. But there was 2 rights to make, right? Am I taking the right turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a child, that guidance has to be there. That map has to tell you, you turn right here. Now, in the event that you're making this right, and as you grow and mature, and I've always taken this right because Mom told me to take this right, but I'm noticing that if I take this right, but make this left right after, I get there a couple minutes faster. You evolve.
Yeah.
You learn.
Yeah.
You grow within that map that's being given to you. And that's very important. All of us need guidance.
Yeah.
Whether that's structured guidance, that's disciplined guidance, however you build it, everybody has their format of teaching and placing that line for a person or a child. Is amongst us as our culture and our discipline and our methods of how we get there. We received it in a very firm way, right?
Yeah.
You're not
Without
here.
question.
You're not here to think. You are here to listen,
Yeah.
right?
And learn.
Right?
Right.
You're not here to talk back.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're here to follow instructions. And for our personalities, we needed that.
Yeah.
Because if you gave us just a little bit more, we will continue to challenge that thought
Yeah.
and expand on it. And they knew.
Yeah.
Imagine if they didn't do that. Where would we all be right now?
please.
Come on now.
Yeah.
You already know.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We got in plenty of trouble with them telling us not to do that.
Absolutely.
Sneaking away.
Yes.
They might want our older cousins. Yo, man, come here. Just take us.
So
And
it's
they would
very
trust them.
important.
Yeah.
So it's very important. I think everybody has great points.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of it all, if you go back and you look at the root of it all, it's necessary. It's necessary. Information is good. But you have to know when and where to give it.
Yeah.
Because not everybody's ready for that information
Agreed.
at that particular
I
time.
agree.
Right.
Amen. True. Okay, so now that we're all parents, is there anything that you done differently that you thought if my dad would have done this, I'm talking about, like, for example, for me, saying I speak to my children, my kids. They're not kids, little kids no more. They're grown. But I've always tried to talk to them, because that's one thing that I kind of lack. My dad was a great father. Hey, we didn't have much, but we always had what we needed. You know what I'm talking about? But the one thing that we never really talked. I didn't really get to know my father till I was like 25. That's the first time we started conversating. So as a parent, hey, like I would discipline my kids, and after I discipline, what I'm saying, when you discipline a kid and they start crying, kids aren't dumb, kids are smart. They'll fake a cry.
Like you.
They'll fake, yeah.
You used to put 5 pants on.
I used to put on 5 pair of pants. I walk into I'm ready to get spanked. But yeah, but then then they took off my clothes and spanked me butt naked.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So that was one of the biggest things.
That was back before when it was acceptable to do those things.
hey, you were gonna learn.
Yeah.
You were gonna learn. So, is there anything that you've done differently with your child that you wish your parents would have done more for you? Saying it could be anything.
Well, I have a daughter, and my relationship to my dad is quite different. It was more like focus in school, get the grades, stay out of trouble. And he loved baseball. He loved baseball with a passion. So amongst our family, we love baseball as well.
Yeah.
So
Cubs.
playing baseball at a young age, that's right, go Cubs.
Yeah.
Go Cubs.
That helped me get into what my dad loved. And I didn't have a problem with that growing up with baseball. So now me being a parent, I spend time with my dad and that's how we bonded. Now with my daughter, because she's a female, it's different. I spend time with her to where the things that she enjoys doing, she loves the water. So we go to the water parks, theme parks, the pool, that she enjoys. She loves drawing. So I encourage her to drawing. I'm trying to encourage her to baseball. I've taken her to a few baseball games where she enjoys, and that's good for me to, to enjoy with her, and it's just spending that quality time, with her being a female and me being a male. My dad was there, but he also had to work, had to be a man of the house, and, just do the best that he could. Give us an education, not going to Catholic school. Well, I know for my child, I want her to get an education. And I say this, it's important on us and how we do raise our children. When we do get together, we share what we have, the bonds that we had, and we still have to this day as grown, being children, the things that they could teach us. A quick example, like when it comes to money, we think about money every day. There's not a person in this world, in our society, that deals with money is always thinking about it. I wish my dad could have taught me to know what it is to budget, invest, save, because that would help me down the road. In schools, they might talk about it, but do they teach?
Exactly. I agree with you 100%.
And look in our society today, how many people are in debt?
I agree.
The mentality of, how do you manage money? So I come to learn and share my daughter something different that lacked in me. Not to blame my parents. It just to have that wisdom, that vision.
It was a different time too. It was a different time back then. Hey.
Correct. So now that the times have changed, it's incumbent upon us to share to our children, to prepare them and train them for what sets before them in the future years of growing up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why would I do different? I had the privilege of being raised by the village, as cousin here says. I was raised in Puerto Rico by Rosa and Camilo, and I was able to live in almost every home. I had the privilege of staying a little bit of a time with the old Carmelo, Camilo, Tio Louis, Ferdinand. Which was a privilege because I was able to wake up and eat breakfast and go play and be chastised and be corrected by all these parents. So I got a taste of everything, but something that I would have done different, because when my grandmother passed, I came full time pretty much to be with the rest of the family and my father, chill. I was very innocent mentally coming from Puerto Rico, from a very flatline culture, right? Where you climb trees and you
Yes.
go to the rivers and
Yeah.
you ride horses and you walk in the street barefooted.
Jumping dams.
Jumping dams, right? It was a very different culture from coming to the States. But one thing that I learned very fast is that when I came from Puerto Rico to the States, I met a man for the first time that was my real father that taught me discipline in a manner that had no control. And it was all rooted with violence. There wasn't just say no. There was no, or I will beat you, or no, I brought you to this world and I'll take you out. Phrases that a child can't really process clearly,
Yeah.
right? Wait, you're my guardian, you're my protector, you're my provider, but you'll take me out of here for some reason? It's hard for a child
Yeah.
to dissect that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't dissect that properly, when I came to an age where I had to fend for myself, my instinctive measure became man, protector.
Yeah.
First remedy, violence.
Yeah.
And everything became a place where I had to decide,
Yeah.
are you a threat in any fashion, whether the problem was small or large? And my remedy to you would be to intimidate. And if that intimidation didn't work, violence. Which got me to a place where everybody in my family knows
Yes.
I come to regret, right? I
Yeah.
lost a lot of my life.
Yeah.
As I evolved as a man and I chastised my own decisions along the way, I realized like, wow, if I could have deleted that aspect of information that I had to dissect and process, would I become a different type of person, a different type of man, a different type of cousin, a different type of brother? Absolutely. It takes you to tame all these demons that you allow to come out and flourish and find yourself as a human, and then as a person that you can look in the mirror and say, I like you. Because it comes to a point where you say, dude, you're damaging to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that, our parents, they raised themselves, from the age of like 14, 15, 16. And the brothers were raising sisters and sisters were raising brothers because there's a multitude of them, right? Like Chewy says, our parents were either do this or that, and like when my dad, God rest his soul, he's up in like my brother said, I love my dad. Me and my dad had a real good relationship, but having a good relationship, we still didn't have a relationship like we have with our kids, right? I think that we've been more effective with our children, right? And sometimes the outcomes aren't positive, right? We don't. Our kids don't always agree with us, especially when they grow, right?
Yes.
When they're 18, 19, 20, you can just guide them. You can't tell them what to do anymore because you can say whatever you want to say, but
They're gonna do it anyways.
The government says you're an adult, right? You can sign a contract and go to war if you want or whatever you want to do. You could sign for a house. You do whatever you want. Communication, I think, is what I would be different. And even now, as like, okay, I have children so you guys understand. I have children from the age of basically 29 to 14, right? So what I did with the 29-year-old, I'm not doing with the 14-year-old, right? Because I learned. And the biggest thing is I've communicated and I've been me. I've been a person to my kids. They know me as who I am, not a version of what I want them to know me for, and that's what we were raised to be. We have to be like this, right? This version. And then as my older children, I started doing the same thing, and I started seeing, and the relationship between me and my older children and my younger children is different just because of that, Because my younger children know who I am. They know who you are, Mikey, Edward, Abraham, all of them, the family. I don't shield them anymore. So I think that, yes, communication, right? But at the end of the day, we are the example, right? We are the example. And at the end of the day, kids will not always listen to what you say, but they will follow what you do.
Yes.
They emulate us entirely. So we have to always be that representative for their future. And like Mikey said, schools, they don't do a good enough job of preparing these kids for the army, for budgeting, for laundry, for food, for all these things. I left Elgin when I was 18 years old by myself, right? I've been by myself for a long, long time. And it struggled. Because I had no one. Like
you had me. I say,
Yeah.
you had me, baby. Let me say, hey.
I had you, and I babysit you too. I love that. No, but honestly, that's the difference, right? Mm-hmm. That's the difference. We have a relationship with our kids, right? You're not doing what Theo did. I'm not doing what Mom and my dad did. I can tell you stories from both of them, and they love me to death. Right. And all my cousins tell my mom, she's the sweetest lady there is. To them. Ask Edward. Mom's tough?
Yeah, she 4'11", but man, shoot, hey, when she get mad, she grew up like the 6'2", like bam, bam, and she turned into the hawkish straight up, boom, 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 the hawk turned green and everything.
I'll give you
I'm like, dang.
I'll give you an example. I don't know if you guys know this. Abraham and I don't know the story, but I don't know if you guys know the story. When I started school here in Elgin, right before I went to Puerto Rico. When I went to Puerto Rico, we used to go to church when we were younger, so I had some reading in Spanish, right? With the Bible.
Yes.
I couldn't say the letter P. I don't know why in Spanish. I couldn't say P. For some reason, the P would not come out como P. So what did my mom do? She grabbed a stick. Okay, every time you don't say that P, la P es de palo. Recuérdate, when you don't see that, P, va a recibir palo.
Yeah, you're gonna get this.
I learned quick.
You're gonna get this bet. Yeah, you're gonna
learned quick.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking
But
about?
she's a sweet lady.
Yeah.
It was a different time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not doing that to my kids, obviously. But her thing was making sure that I learned the language so I wouldn't fall behind. See? So her intention was a good intention. It's just, I learned.
The hard way.
The hard way.
The hard way.
So, yeah.
That's good. Yeah. So, you know what? Let's talk a little bit about discipline. Listen, so I'm going to give you guys a scenario that I witnessed. And then, for example, like me, I discipline my kids. And, if you do it right, if you do it right, like I said, like I was talking earlier, the kids can fake cry. But if you're disciplining correctly, they'll cry. And a real cry, they'll go straight to sleep. That's how you know. Okay, that's a real cry because he went straight to sleep. And then when they as soon as they would wake up, I'd sit there and be like, come here, papi, come here, mommy. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, the reason why I did this is not because I want to hit you. I don't want to hit you. I love you. I don't want to do this. But if I don't do it, somebody else is going to do it. Yeah. This is my job. I'm not your friend. I'm your dad. I'm your dad. I'm your dad. And we can talk and we can be cool later. But for now, my job is to make sure that you grew up correctly. So the scenario I was going to talk about is I saw so there was a Zoom call. There was a Zoom call between a lady, the ex-husband, and the doctor. You know what I'm talking about? So I want to see what you guys would do if this would happen to you. All right. So then they're in a Zoom call, and obviously there are different areas, and the father's talking to the doctor, and all of a sudden, a little kid runs by and smacks the out of dad in front of everybody. Dad was like this. He's like this. He's like, hey, you know what can you possibly say? The mom was like, are you gonna allow that? And the doctor was like, the guys are still like this. He's trying to figure out what to do the whole time. I'm like, If your kid came by. What would you do?
Well, for me,
and then explain your process of when you discipline process.
Right. First of all, I would look at my daughter, and she's gonna see that look in my face, because it's gonna disturb me to get hit by her. You know, where did that come from? And what was your intent to do that? You know, I don't do that to you, so why should you do that to me? Then I'm gonna raise my voice. And then you're gonna take time to where I'm gonna say, why did you do that? And then we talk. You know, I'll never lay hands on my daughter, but I do raise my voice to get her attention. And then once I get her attention, then let's talk. Because then I would put her in that situation too, just thinking about it. What if someone was to do that to you? Or to your siblings? Or to your family member? That's not acceptable, right? You're having this conversation, getting ready with these other individuals. What impression are you making?
Yeah.
Right? Did I teach you that? No. Right?
She learned it from somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
one of the things that I know that if a lot of since I'm going to let you back in, but so it falls into it. Our family, the dynamic of it is, I would say, we're very spiritual. Best word, right? Mm-hmm. So all our parents went Bibles, church. We all did that. So continue, because that what you're saying, it falls into that. So people know that all of us have that background.
Right. Correct. Yes. So with that comes a little wisdom, and that's, you said it right there. That's what I would fall in then now. You know, how can I share that moment that's going to be a teaching moment, but a one of truth? One of truth. Because she's going to get older one day. And then she's going to reflect, oh, I used to be this way. Am I going to do the same thing that I did to, you know, my dad to my child, my own children? So those are teaching moments. But at the same time, it takes for us to have that spiritual background, spiritual knowledge, to have that foresight to doing that.
We're all
Right.
God-fearing. We may not act like it all the time, but we are.
Don't make us your moral standard.
No.
We ain't gonna lead you the right
Moral
direction.
standards,
No. Just saying.
I think
You know? But Jesus loves you. Jesus loves all three of y'all.
Absolutely. As we educate our kids, I think it's real important to grab that child when he shows the smallest inclination of impulse and allow him to understand consequence, right? Everybody in this room and everybody in this camera is going to understand what I'm about to do without a word, right? We could be in a silent home. Mom hasn't said anything to you, but she's going to put this on right there. And everybody understands what's about to happen.
Yeah. Discipline.
All of a sudden, you understand
that
that
hurts.
there's a sense of consequence and it's about to come.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's running. It's running. She's going to get to it. She might just be wrapping up the kitchen. Habla contigo ahora.
Oh no! Hey, once you had that, you
Right?
had that.
Yeah. Right?
You
Yeah.
knew
You
you were
see
gonna
it.
get it.
Yeah.
And you see it.
Yeah.
We understood the consequence.
Yeah.
That's
Agreed.
why we never came into a situation where we ever raised our hand at our parents. Right?
Yep.
Because from day one, you knew if you ever just think about crossing that line, you may not come back from it.
Yeah,
Right?
that's true.
So I have an example, right? I have an example. I agree, because it starts with letting them know there's going to be a consequence, right? So what do? All right, the other day I had a birthday party with my youngest daughter. She's 18. She turned 18, Sarah. We had a birthday party for her. Right, we had a birthday party for her on April 19th. The family came over, so on and so forth. A whole bunch of people came over, so on and so forth. So they started singing happy birthday, like every normal happy birthday to you, lo que sea. And her best friend, one of her best friends, takes the cake, right, piece of cake, and puts it on her face. And I showed Primo the video.
Yeah.
The first move she made, she stuck her best friend, hit her, right, and then she said, everyone jumps in, like they're fighting, and the first thing she says, "Dad, that's what you taught me. It's no one to ever touch my face."
Yeah.
So when when she said that, I was like, "You're right. So by that instruction, she understands that if she would ever try to touch my face. There's a consequence. Because when they touched her face, there was a consequence.
You're right.
So it's education.
Amen.
Out of respect.
Amen.
You're right. Yep.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and use this. I used to do the same thing with my kids, but I'd be like this, I'd be like. I'd be chasing around the crib for a while first. Get nervous. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Not yet though. I'm chasing around the crib. Run, little nigga. Run, little nigga. Run, little nigga. Run. So we all know. We all kind of, we all love. We are la varita. Yeah. The switch. Bow, bow. You know what I'm talking about? But okay, so
go pick that branch. Pick your favorite branch.
No, that's what my mom. They used to tell me, "Hey, go pick the branch you want me to hit you with." I go get a stump because I know she couldn't carry the stump. You know what I'm talking about? But then she would go get the smallest switch because those were the ones that hurt the most.
Yes.
So all right. So now, as parents, so you guys are still going through the process. You guys younger children. We have older children now. Okay, so I was talking to Freddie about this, that I wanted to see what you guys think, because we already been through it. So for example, we have daughters. We're going to talk about daughters. See, that was one of the hardest things for me was raising a daughter because I'm not a woman. I don't know what they go through. I don't really want to know. But, that was tough for me, Say, for example, when it came to dating. Okay, when it came to dating, as a father, male father, I got my baby. And I know how we were with females. So, you got to protect your girl. So give me just an example of what is a good age for you guys to allow your daughter to date? Just as and your sons. But see, my sons, I was like, go ahead, do you got to do your thing. but my daughter, you know what I'm saying? I was like, hey, we talked a lot. And I told her, look, mommy, I don't want no trouble. So look, I know you're gonna date. You're gonna have a whole lifetime to do all that stuff. But for now, worry about the schooling and your sports. You know what I'm saying? And I told her, hey, when she turned 16, I said, you're driving, so there you go. So to me, that was like my ideal age, So as you guys haven't got to that part yet, what do you think? Come on, Mikey. Come on, Mikey. Let me know what you think, Papi. He's already sweating. He's already thinking. He's like,
look at you. Oh man. Yeah, that's
see,
tough one to digest.
That's
right?
a tough one.
Man.
That is a tough one.
Yeah.
So what's the answer?
What do you think?
Okay, for me personally,
Lauren's watching.
She's watching. You talk to your daughter.
She's
Talk to
watching.
your daughter.
what? 10 more years. So what? You're 10 now, right?
She's like,
That make you 20, right? All right.
Before he went, because I know he's dissecting.
Yeah,
what
he's
saying.
let him think.
I think
He's
there
sweating.
is no sense of measure and time-wise. I think each parent needs to understand how mature the child is emotionally
Yeah.
before you allow her to make emotional decisions for her own self. The same way the first job, she got her first part-time job. She's making her first educational decision. And Dad, I'm really interested in this path. What do you think? When you are able to have these conversations back and forth, you're seeing your child evolve and mature. And you're seeing that she can evaluate a situation, right? And maybe the decision may not be the best, but she's making a decision that she's processing, she's thinking about. It's not just, oh my God, he looked at me. Oh my God, he asked me to sit down next to him at lunchtime.
So what are you telling Annabelle? What age?
So what I'm saying is, everybody's different. His daughter at 16 may be a situation where she's fully mature and she's like blossoming into this bright girl who he feels very comfortable in making these decisions. And Annabelle may be a situation where she's 18 because she's not there yet, right? Sometimes she gives me these flashes of brightness, but then she comes back and says something super innocent to me, and I'm like, oh well, I thought she was a little here, but maybe she's here. So I think that plays into that decision. I don't know.
Oh no, yeah, of course. The friendships, at the school age, because we can relate. Now that you guys are a little older, you guys been through it. For example, I'll say this real quick. Lauren has a friend. His name is Jace.
Who?
Jace.
Jace?
Classmate.
Okay.
They've known each other since 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade.
Lauren,
Going on
send me
5th grade.
send me Chase's picture.
Yeah, we gotta see who
We gotta
Chase
see Chase
is, man.
Gato.
I didn't know this. What is this?
And what they do as classmates, they have fun, school, great. The parents are great. So I was able to see how she interacts with the opposite sex, meaning the male, her being a female. I talked to her. She needs to respect herself so that others respect her, and get that understanding little by little, and give her the freedom too that she can have, friendships, even that they're boys, that freedom. Yet at the same time, she's going to learn in how she's being treated by boys. And especially like with Jace, a very respectful kid. They get along. Sometimes, he might say something to her that might get her upset or, she'll get sad, but she'll talk about it. That's the difference.
Yes.
That's the difference. Now, she's able to develop these relationships, so like with Jace, for example, right now, I'm using him. That as she gets older, though, yeah, having a boyfriend that's there, but to me, I would share to her the vision and my belief as being a follower of Christ is that you're seeking a husband that if it's God's will for your life, and if you want to follow that and pursue that, then that's what you want to seek. What kind of man do you want in your life? What can you bring also as a woman to that man's life? So it has to do a lot of things with her growing up, being a child, learning from us,
Amen.
right?
Yeah.
See, so my thing was this, because growing up, when my daughter was growing up, everybody's like, she's just like you. I'm like, I know. And I was sick. I was a sick individual growing up.
Growing up?
Hey, listen. Hey, let's keep everything real. Look. I was sick. It wasn't my fault. It was passed down to, from our parents. And, you're not gonna make fun of somebody that has cancer and shit, or is if he's in a wheelchair or some shit. You're not gonna make fun of that person. I was sick, so you can't make fun of me because I was sick. But then my daughter, I'm like, did she get my sickness? So I was watching it carefully. No, she didn't. She's a good girl, talking about. But hey, but when they need them, I'm saying, hey, I was there, and like I said, I've always told them, hey, we're cool.
Yeah.
But I had to be a parent first. You know what I'm talking about? So is there any advice, real quickly, to wrap this up real quick? Any advice that you would give the next generation of parents that you've learned that's worked for you?
Well, being a family that we have here, right? Being Okendo family, we know that we're passionate people, and they always carry that love for one another through thick and thin. And that's what I want to aspire to for my daughter and the next generation to come with us. So with the love.
Yep.
And the faith too.
Amen.
Using your commentary initially, what would I do different as a parent? I'm going to turn that over. What would I do just like they did? It's loving each other.
Yeah. That's very true.
Nourish each other, build each other up.
Yeah, I think that's the key. What we have as a group, not just us. We have a very big family, and when we get together, we have pictures, 300 people together, $2.99. It's all family. So even though we're that big, like Mike says, we're very passionate, very loving. We know each other. Like Edward says, you got to understand one thing. Our kids are our offspring, right? They're gonna be like you. At some level, it's gonna be like you because you went through it, right? Mm-hmm. You can help guide them, communicate, because your itch, they got that same itch.
Hey,
boy,
I was sick
or girl,
though.
It don't matter. They have. We have to make sure that we educate them because they're from us.
Responsibly.
Yes,
though.
responsibly.
Responsibly.
Yeah,
Because my sickness, I don't have to give that to her. I know.
Oh, you're
what
sick
I was
too?
given, and I have to
You sick too?
have to filter that.
Oh, okay.
Right, to make sure that she doesn't get
Yeah.
what I went through. She has that opportunity to live without that part that I know didn't work for me.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Good
yes.
word.
Good work.
What about you, Freddie? Any good word there?
That's what I said. Thank you guys.
Okay, so really quickly, talking about, I guess we're gonna wrap it up right here. Is there any final things you want to say to your daughter, to somebody, real quick? Go ahead.
I
Here's your
love you
time.
all. Thank you for your audience.
Josiah, Annabelle, I love you to death. Family, los adoro, los quiero.
Yeah. Mi familia, we love you guys. We're doing this in hopes that we raise our children as a village. Because that's I think, going to be what we recommend to the next generation. Don't do it on your own, especially because you're competing with social media. Make sure that you get family involved. Make sure you get, your community involved, and let the community raise our children.
So yes, I want to thank you, my loves, for coming on podcast today. Kicking it with your boy. But with that being said, from the Okenda perspective, God bless you. Stay safe. Stay smooth. We out. Peace.
Peace.